footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Memory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bring you an NFC wildcard preview between the Lions and the Saints. Now let's look at Detroit's offensive game plan against New Orleans. They have to come into here and love the matchups. They have a lot of different personnel, and I would make sure I come in and utilize my tight ends to their advantage. I would take those tight ends and flank them out as wide receivers and keep those wide receivers in Calvin Johnson and Burleson on the interior. Reason being, you dictate coverage when you do that. You force the Saints to make a choice. Either we're going to keep a safety over top of Calvin Johnson, or we're going to put a safety on Pettigrew or a safety on Scheffler. Those tight ends can win one-on-one matchups versus the Saints secondary. So it's all about alignment when playing the Saints defense. And also, you can't forget about Kevin Smith back there in the backfield. This guy, when he played in the first matchup, was able to find some success versus the Saints defense. So don't forget that you have a talented tailback back there, and you can run the football. And if they can do so, if they can find balance, this is a team that can put up a lot of points against New Orleans. Now, defensively, let's look at their defensive game plan. Detroit has to come in and look at what worked in the first matchup. Carl Nicks was getting whipped by Nick Fairley. Now you have Ndamukong Suh coming into this game, so that's going to be where you can take advantage, because you have to get pressure from the interior against the Saints. In come two defensive tackles that have outstanding pass rushing ability and ability to push the pocket. Now, what that's going to do is force Breeze to bounce outside or belly out to try to extend the play. That's when those defensive ends have to make sure they collapse the pocket, keep him bottled in, and effectively sack him in the pocket. Now, also defending the pass, the Lions have to make a decision as far as what do we want to take away. Do we want to take the deep pass, or do we want to take away the short to intermediate? So I look at the linebackers being highly effective in coverage. These guys have to communicate to those safeties and like, listen, we have to take away one of these two. So you got to communicate, either I'm gonna stay underneath or I'm gonna stay over top. Now let's look at the Saints offensive game plan. Coming to this ball game, one thing I like about what the Saints do on offense, when they run the football and operate off play action, they're very tough to beat. This is a team, when they run play action, they run out of max protect. Very tough to defend, because now someone is wide open deep down the field. And you look at where they were attacking the Detroit Lions on offense last meeting, they were attacking deep to intermediate. There was no short game. So if the Saints can operate off balance by turnaround and they utilize those three backs that we always talk about, they can have a lot of success. Now let's look at the defensive game plan versus Detroit. Against Matt Stafford, he's not a guy that loves to face the blitz. He doesn't step up in the pocket and make moves within and then step up and fire the football. He's a guy that backpedals and keeps on backpedaling, similar to Matt Ryan, and that's when the ball comes out from all different funky angles, and that's where the Saints can take advantage of getting turnovers. So I would say you're going to see a little bit more blitzing from Greg Williams than normal. I know that sounds weird because he blitzed a lot. They're going to have to blitz Detroit. You're going to force Detroit to get rid of that football quickly, and the Saints have shown they are better tacklers now than they were before early on in the season. So more blitzing against Matt Stafford, force him to backpedal, and the Saints can't lose sight of their run gap discipline. You saw the Panthers were able to blitz the Saints with the running game, running off tackle. Saints can't have those mishaps in their gap discipline against Detroit with Kevin Smith, because he can find some running room. Now let's look at some X factors in this ball game. X factor for the Detroit Lions has to be running back Kevin Smith. When he was in the ball game, the first meeting, he had a lot of success. Don't forget he's a part of the team. Hand that football off. X factor for the Saints has to be special teams. You want to force the Lions to drive the length of the field. If they can win the special teams battle, the Saints can stay aggressive and playing up to the crowd noise, and also putting them in backed up situations where you know they have to throw the football. Huge matchup right here. This is one of the best matchups right here. If I'm a Saints fan, I wanted this. If I'm a Lions fan, I wanted this. I think the Saints win this ball game. I don't think they blow the Lions out, because they didn't blow them out in the first meeting. I think this is another close game. I think the Lions can't put up points, but I think the Saints playing with a new sense of aggressiveness against this type of defensive offensive front, I think they're going to do a lot of damage. I look for the Saints to win at least by 10 points. For more NFL previews, visit footballgameplan.com/NFL or visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Follow me on Twitter at FBallGamePlan, and listen to the Football Game Plan radio show, which airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern Time at blogtalkradio.com/footballgameplan.